Let's imagine that you invite guests for dinner. There is lots of food, wine is chilling, maybe tequila is ready and margaritas. You invited 4 people and you are very excited. But then 6 people show up at your door. Not 4, but 6. What would you do? Would you come up with some almost believable excuse and cancel the event and send everyone packing? No, of course not. Because you would know that what was meant for 4 people will be enough to feed 6 easily. You can always make the margaritas less alcoholic. You would add 2 extra chairs to the table, 2 extra plates, and so on and so on. It would be a dishonor in many cultures to not welcome extra guests to your home. In Poland, we say when guests arrive, God arrives in our home. Here in North America and in Western Europe as well, we are waking up to a new reality where more new people are showing up in our midst. People that need to be fed, heard, and acknowledged. You see, for many centuries until quite recently, this world was run by old, white, rich, straight men. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Yes. And one doesn't need to be very woke to understand that things are changing. Our countries, our neighborhoods, our churches, our families are less white today. They are less heteronormative, and they are less monolingual. Even within one family, it happens more than not that people speak more than one language. And so we can approach this changing situation, this changing world, as a threat and build higher walls, ban books, or put barrels in the Rio Grande. Or we can see it as a blessed opportunity and build longer tables to feed everyone. When Peter, James, and John were preparing for their hiking experience up to the mountains with Jesus, they were planning to lodge and feed 4 of them: James, John, Peter, and Jesus. I would imagine they would pack enough beef jerky just for the 4 people. But then, when 2 extra people showed up, Peter didn't take a hike. Instead, he said, I will build 3 tents. One for you, Jesus, one for Moses, one for Elijah. You see, for people in the Middle East, just like for Poles and for Mexicans and many other cultures, hospitality is a sacred obligation. And he didn't think about his own comfort, he was giving away his tent. You, Moses, can sleep in my tent. He was not worrying that these new guests will take away his hard-earned place at the table. Making them safe and comfortable was more important than his own comfort. I assume they were ready to spend the night under the big blue sky of Galilee, while the guests slept comfortably in tents. If we were in the Protestant congregation, I would ask you to take your Bibles out, but we are Catholics. So you have to believe me when I quote Isaiah chapter 54, verse 2. If you have a Bible, you can open it, but I doubt anybody here has a Bible. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 2, there is an amazing sentence. It says, "Make your tent bigger, open wide their doors." Let me give you some background about Isaiah. There are actually 3 Isaiahs. We know from historical study of the Bible that the book of Isaiah was written by 3 different people. There's different syntax, different grammar, different style of writing. The first Isaiah lived and wrote before the exile of Israel to Babylon. The second, probably during the exile, and the third, at the end of the exile and after the exile. You know, the Babylonian Empire conquered Israel, and they kidnapped most of the Jewish people and sent them to Babylon. So the third Isaiah is preparing the people of Israel to go back to their homeland at the end of the exile. And he's instructing them how to structure their social life anew, how to build your new home again. And in chapter 54, verse 2, he says, "Make your tent bigger, open wide its windows and doors." What a prophetic and powerful message is this. Not only for the people of Israel thousands of years ago, but for us today. We are invited to make our tent bigger. We are invited to dream bigger, to widen our horizons. God has given us more than enough. God has blessed us generously here in this country, in Europe, and so many other places. We have enough to feed, to welcome, to heal, to hear and to see our neighbors, even if they show up unannounced. After all, you wouldn't take your extra guest to go away home. Let us make our tents bigger. Let us open wide our hearts.